Hello there. For today's video, I wanted to talk about some of the planning essentials that I basically can't live without. And this video was inspired actually a few months ago by Emily Noel, where she had a premise where she lost her makeup or something like that, and basically she had just a little bit of time to go to the store and repurchase some of her essentials, like what are the things that would get her through the day. And this is kind of like the same thing but planner edition. And JetPens actually made a video pretty similar to this as far as like what are the essentials that you need for planning, I guess. And keep in mind, these items are not necessarily, I guess, items that you need, but for me, they've come in handy. There is one item on here that is like a bonus item, but for the rest of them, I definitely feel like that I use the most, basically. So let's go ahead and get started. First off is going to be the planner, of course, and I have my Hobonichi cousin in the Avec. So I guess if I lost my cousin, I would not necessarily pick or choose if it was an Avec or the full year, but for me this is better just because I do use a lot of stickers and it does chunk up. Let me see if I can. You can kind of see that it looks a little bit like a sound wave where there's bulk right here, it thins out in the middle, and then there's bulk right there. So anyway, that's why I have been really loving this, and I can't see myself going back to a full year book because I love using stickers and it just would get too chunky. But on top of why this is an essential for me, let's kind of go through it real quick. So to start with, I have a place where I can keep track of some of the things that I need to do, and you know, like I don't always remember, but I do remember to mark it for the most part. And so I know I need to water like the indoor plants because, let's see, it has been a while. They have been looking a little dry. So, but it's also like keeping track of, you know, when I wash the towels and the sheets versus my clothes, which I haven't marked. You know what? I haven't been so good this month. So let's move on. And the next one is the monthly section. So honestly, with this section, I don't necessarily use it all that functionally, although this is a little bit different and it has been working out for the most part, but it's kind of an outlet just for fun, really, for me to decorate a monthly thing and write highlights. So I haven't been doing that either, but in general, I do kind of just write a little highlight here and there, but I just love to have fun decorating it, to be honest. And then all in the same book still, I have the weekly spread. So I really get a chance to look at my calendar on a weekly basis. Of course, I have a lot of fun decorating it, but again, with the decoration, definitely not a necessity. It really, the most essential part is the fact that I can use this to plan my week, plan my day, know what I need to do, and also be able to write in highlights like the fact that we went to Dunkin', or you know, we went to Noodleholics. Not everything revolves around food, but in a sense for me, I just love food and I like to write that. And then the other thing about this journal that I really like, or planner I should say, is the fact that I could also use it as a journal. And you know, again, this is all contained within the same book, and I really just kind of give myself freedom to do whatever. So it's not that I journal a lot every day. Like this has hardly any writing in it, whereas this has a lot. Same thing here. There's nothing really here except a drawing. I don't know what you call that. And you know, there are some days where I just don't really write a lot, so I used these like memo pads to basically write some highlights. And then the other thing I like about this planner is the fact that, well, this is a little bit deviates from what the planner actually is. But with the notes sections, because there's only just a few pages for notes, and then with this particular planner, the Hobonichi, there's a lot of like pages in the back that have different things, like figuring out, like there's an age chart or conversion chart for, I don't know, like money or measurements. I don't know, there's like different pages that that you could look up, but I basically made a giant sticker of graph paper and pasted it on here. And so now I've got more notes pages for myself. So I do have my work to-do list, I have work notes, and then I also have a master to-do list, which I absolutely love, just having a big to-do list where I can draw from and put into like a smaller task list, or even be able to create goals around one or two particular to-dos, which is something I did with the doormats. But yeah, I gave myself extra note pages, and this is why I absolutely love this planner. Granted, I do use my calendar in my phone to schedule all my appointments, so that is very, very handy, and I do take that information from my phone and plug it in here. But it's also nice to be able to aggregate my work schedule and my personal schedule to make sure that there are no conflicts. All right, so moving along, my next thing that is an absolute essential. So if anything, these are the top two, like there's nothing beyond this, but we'll continue after this. But anyway, so this is my Uni Jetstream. It is in my favorite color, pink, and this is a 5-in-1 pen. The only word that came to mind was marker. Anyway, so it has 4 different colors, which I absolutely love, and then this also turns into a pencil. And so if you push on this, it draws up the pencil or the lead. However, it doesn't look like there's much lead in here now. I don't use it all that often, but I actually should, because there's one meeting in particular that's been moved around, and the eraser is right there, which I also need to change. And actually, this Uni Jetstream is so crucial because it is almost like, I don't know, they go together like peas and carrots. With the Tomoe River paper. So with this paper, it is like coated or something, I don't know, it's particularly like a special kind of paper so that there's no bleeding. There is ghosting, but you see how you can't see my flowers. Anyway, the Uni Jetstream, the ink in this particular pen goes perfectly with this paper because it dries very quickly and there's no like smearing. So I used a gel pen. I wrote this with a Pilot High-Tech C Coletto, and I can still, if I wanted to, rub my finger across this and there would be smearing. I think I even did some smearing here this morning just to test it. And granted, I wrote this a few days ago, so it should be completely dry. And it is if I go like this, no problem. But if I really wanted to, it would definitely smear. So the Uni Jetstream is absolutely perfect. It also is perfect because it comes in, the refills come in different sizes. Right now, my black refill ink is in 0.5, which is perfect for this size journal planner. When I had my A6 planner, the original Hobonichi Techo, I had the 0.38, which is what the other colors are right now. It is 0.38 refill ink, and it was just kind of perfect to be able to size up or down on the ink based on my planner. I also love this pen because I can write, let me show you a week here, that's probably a little bit easier to see. So for example, something I've been doing somewhat recently. So in green, these are my appointments. And then in red is work stuff. And then black is pretty much anything else that I do that's outside of appointments or work stuff. I might change this to blue instead of red, but that's only because when we go to the daily section, Yeah, so something that I've been doing as well is making my to-do list. So in black is personal, and then in blue, I don't know how easy that is to see if it's too bright, but in blue is my work stuff. So I don't know, it's really cool to have the different options of inks. And if I were to replace this with a different writing utensil, then it would be this one, which also is in pink. This is my Pilot Friction. So basically it's erasable ink, and I don't think all that many people know about this, so I love spreading the word about the Friction. And fun fact, you could bring back that little piece of ink or anything. If I stuck this planner in the freezer, it comes back. And also if I left this in my car, since it does get very hot in my car where I live, it would also disappear without, supposedly that's what I heard, without friction, but definitely by putting it in the freezer. Anyway, enough rambling. Up next is my pencil board. I do actually have two of these because I love it so much. It is really thin. It's not flimsy, I don't want to say, but it is very flexible, and you can't, it doesn't matter really what's on the face of these, you can't see through. It's, yeah, you just can't see through it. But one of the reasons that I love it is in that it's basically a bookmark. So that's basically one functionality, but I love it when things have more than one function. And really its main purpose is to create a stable writing surface for you, especially if you're somebody that really pushes in while they are writing, you know, while you are writing. This is really nice so that there's no ruining of the paper underneath. It's very, very handy. It also is very handy when there are stickers involved. So for example, I have 3 stickers here. If I wanted to write on this page where these 3 stickers are, it's going to create a little bit more of a stable writing surface so that I can, you know, just make it a little bit better as far as my writing goes. I do recommend this. This one is from Hobonichi as well. Let's see, what else do we have here? I make a lot of mistakes, so having whiteout is really crucial for me. I make so many mistakes. There's some I just whatever, ignore it. But in particular, I do like to use whiteout, especially this week. God, I don't know, my brain was on another level and I just made so many mistakes. One was actually like a cancellation or something like that. But yeah, having whiteout, pretty much whiteout is fine. This one in particular, it's okay. I don't like how, like, you can see the head moving there. I don't like how unstable that is. Like the big ones, they don't move. So I'm open to trying other ones, but yeah, this is definitely an essential for me because I make so many mistakes and sometimes I can be quite a perfectionist. The next thing I have here is my Pentel Fude Touch. Yeah, brush sign pen, I think it's what it's called. It's got a long name. And this is a brush pen. So it's nice and small, which means it's a little bit like, the brush tip is a little bit stiffer, which means that the lines that you're going to create are a little bit, I think, easy. I guess for a beginner, it's really easy to kind of practice calligraphy or, you know, like that cursive writing. I don't know, forget what it's called. But this is something that's come in handy a lot. I use it a lot. I use it, as you can see, I use it pretty much every day for making my to-do list. And there are times too where I'll use it to write the days of the week. Depends on the color I'm feeling, but sometimes this will be different colors of this version of marker. It's being used right there, so very handy. Love it for creating headers, as you know, I got headers here, but also you saw my to-do list, but even like making little headers right here. This is over, I messed up and I put whiteout, so it doesn't write super well on whiteout, but yeah, I still love it, recommend it. The other thing that I use a lot is this Zig Clean Color Dot marker, and I use it the most in the color black. And honestly, I use the non-dot marker side the most. I absolutely love this tip. I probably talk about it in most of my videos, where this tip is like a hard plastic, but for some reason it just lays down the perfect amount of ink. I use it a lot in my weekly section, like, you know, to write breakfast, lunch, dinner. Sometimes I'll use it to outline this, well, in like the different color versions. What else do I use it for? I used to, when I was using my A6 weekly supplemental, I would use it to write the hourly schedule that I wanted rather than the one that Hobonichi had set up. So this one, I can't recommend it enough as well. And using the dots, it's fun. You can get really creative using like the dot side of things. And even if you go on jet pens, they show you different ways where you can use this marker. This one is actually a new favorite of mine, and I think I could classify it as an essential just because I've actually gotten a lot of use out of it. I've been using it to make these boxes. What else have I done with it? I use a lot the squares and the circles. I haven't really utilized any of the other stencils, but it's great as a little ruler, and it's also great as a bookmark since it does have this portion of it. So yeah, you could make it like a little bookmark. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it's right there. I can't think of anything else to say about this other than it's just really simple. It's a great stencil. It does come in different finishes. So this is like the silver. I think it comes in gold and like a copper rose gold color. There's also 1 or 2 different versions of this with like banners and flowers or cats. Like there's different versions of this particular ruler, but I highly recommend this. Something I did forget to mention that is definitely an unsung hero is these little tabs. Like all of these are the same. I don't know if I mentioned this, but they're both Midori, these little tabs, and this one. They're both made by Midori, and honestly, like these tabs are what really help keep me organized. And I know I could not live without these tabs because I just know where everything is. This is going to open up to my weeklies, and then this, it disappeared. Okay, so this second one is going up to my like habit tracker, and then this third one is going to my monthly, and then this first tab here is going to do the swatches. The second one is going to my work list, and then this third one is my to-do list. So I have pretty much everything memorized, and then this one is like my ideal schedule for me to reference my work day. And yeah, these tabs absolutely really crucial for me to stay organized and like know where each section of the book is. Otherwise I'd be like, I don't know, using bookmarkers, but they just help keep things really nice and clean and neat. So highly recommend those. And then finally, for the bonus item is the Marby La Plume 2. I absolutely love these brush markers, I guess you would call them markers. And this is a color that is, even though it says it's pale mauve or mauve, it is kind of like a pinky color at the same time. It's just kind of like very dusty, somewhere in between pink and purple. And I love it, but I don't think it's really a like necessity. However, it's great for adding pops of color. I do love, you know, to use color in my weekly spreads, and obviously when I journal, I like to, you know, incorporate color, whether that's with actual markers or using stickers or pictures or whatever. But these are also really good for lettering. The tip on these are a lot longer than the Pentel. However, I think they're just slightly shorter compared to like the Tombow brush pens. The other thing that I love about this, and I think is different from the Tombow, actually I have one right here. So this is kind of like a bullet tip. This is like the clear Tombow brush pen. What I love about this is that it's not a bullet tip. In fact, it's like a fine tip. So you can barely see that. It almost reminds me of like the Sakura Micron, or I forget what the brand is, but you know, the Micron pens. These make really nice fine lines, which I've also made a lot of use out of both of these tips. So that's what the biggest reason that I love it is the fact that it's so versatile, but also is going to be providing me with a little bit of color. When I was in boot camp, the only color I pretty much saw was like dark, you know, olive green color. And so when I got out of boot camp and went back home for a little bit, it was just like, oh my God, the world has so many colors. It was just like, I don't know, it was definitely a little bit overwhelming to see all of the colors again. So it's just like, now I want to live my life in color. Anyway, yeah, so these are my essentials for journaling. Not necessarily useful for everybody. Things I definitely get the most use out of. So I'm curious to know, like, what are your essentials for journaling? Let me know in the comment section below. I would really be interested in hearing, to see if maybe some of yours are the same or different, or maybe there's something I left out. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing, as it does help me out. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.